Today's AskReddit post. What is something people always say that just pisses you off? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Can you please come into work today? We really need you to come in. Look, I'm sure you can handle one less cashier. Or you would give everyone more hours to begin with. I know you've got covered and that you're burnt out. But everyone else is exhausted. We need you to come back tomorrow. My truth. I scrolled through a few of these irritating top comments thinking meh, and then I saw this, and it boiled my piss. My urologist says I run a little hot too. Money doesn't buy happiness. It sure is a lot easier to live when all of your basic needs are met though. This has been studied, and money certainly does buy happiness. Up to a point. Basically up to an upper middle class life. More money helps happiness. It was a phrase that was believed to have originated during the Great Depression by the wealthy to placate the poor into believing the rich are just as miserable. You can sleep when you're dead. I work nights, so I was always tired during family gatherings and holiday parties. Someone would always make this comment if they saw me tired. Sometimes more than one person at an event. I worked in hospitality/service 35 years. So I always worked nights. In bars it was till 4 AM or so. I stepped days BC I could never go to sleep till 7 or so. People think that sleeping all day is bad. But it's natural for anyone who works nights/grades. Still a night owl. F them. Don't be a stranger. This is almost always said by people who make zero effort to reach out and stay in touch. That responsibility falls on me 90% of the time. Same. I pulled back and realized how many friendships were reliant on me making the first move. When I was a kid, there was a saying many adults and teachers used to justify/sweep under the rug blatant bullying. A horse kicks out of love. Yeah, it sounds even worse in English. The mindset was that if someone bullies you, especially if it was a boy bullying a girl, they did it BC they liked you. Right? Yeah, not so much. I was bullied for years. Just BC I was weird and didn't fit in. And it had duck all to do with my gender. But I have never forgotten how I tried to tell my teacher I was being bullied. And their answer was a horse kicks out to love. Yeah, the horse never loved me. And I got kicked regardless. Horses don't kick out of love. They kick out of fear, which I think would be valid for bullies. They are just trying to climb to the top of the hill so they can feel better about themselves by looking down on others. You know there's starving kids in Africa who have it worse. Yes, I understand and appreciate that, but it doesn't mean my problems should suddenly mean nothing. I remember as a kid I refused to eat what my mother had cooked because it was disgusting. She said, "There are starving children in Africa who'd be happy to eat that." I got up and grabbed a box from downstairs and came back to the table. She asked what I was doing, and I told her I was getting it packaged up to mail to Africa. My father spit out his drink. He laughed so hard. LMFAO. That is the best response ever. What did your mom say? Just start at insert poverty wage and work your way up like awesome. I'll just tell my bills to wait a few years. 3. Calm down. Usually when I'm calmer than they are. Nobody has ever calmed down because someone told them to stop freaking out. I'm trying to remove the knife, babe. Some people have it worse. Like if none of my suffering is real, because somebody else has it worst for some reason. I used to live in Africa, where there are people who struggle to get food some days. And you know what? They get annoyed if their mobile battery runs down. Something that annoys or saddens you isn't invalidated by other people having bigger problems. The rolling blackouts probably don't help with the phone charging situation. Everything happens for a reason. Yes. But sometimes the reason is because people suck. Edit. Wow guys. Thanks so much for the votes. I'm sure there's absolutely no reason for them. And that I find truly comforting. My version is sometimes things happen because fuck you. That's why. Nobody wants to work. I can assure you they do. They just don't wanna be screwed over anymore. You know what? I was going to make a snarky comment, but you're right. Sometimes I really want to go hands-on with passion and enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm held back by feeling like an idiot when I remember how meaningless my efforts are treated and compensated. I just do the bare basics and clock out like everyone else. Working in the service industry here, why is it always up to me to not be a human poop bag? Why am I expected to bend over backwards and go beyond the limits of my job for a stranger only for them to spit in my face afterwards? I don't have a filter. Yes, you do. You just choose to be rude, gross, inappropriate or whatever and excuse yourself by saying that you don't have a filter. Suck it up, buttercup. Makes me want to punch you. Put your big girl panties on flips me into murder mode. That exact phrase crossed my mind. Fucking hate it. Who the hell coined a phrase using big girl panties, and how the hell did it catch on? Question mark? If I can do it, so can you. No, not everyone has the same resources, the same abilities, the same support, and so on. Stop it. It's entertaining to respond to this one by talking to them in a language they don't speak. If you happen to have one on hand. Si je pukes per le français, tu pukes en effet le faire aussi. Renting is dead money. Like I either rent, or I'm homeless or mayo. Money can't buy happiness. It would sure as hell solve all of my current problems if I had it. I like how one YouTuber put it. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it makes problems that make you unhappy go away. I'm sorry if anyone was offended as an apology for saying something incredibly offensive. If you start a sentence with "I'm sorry if," chances are you're already ducking up. I could care less. Let that sink in. It's usually preceded by some meaningless tripe or incomplete and unnuanced bullpoop, even when it's not. I hate that phrase. Don't you want another baby? We are technically infertile. Our kid is a miracle. Why don't you try the Lumbic program? Fuck off. Why don't you try? Why don't you try to not be an asshole? People need to keep their mouth shut when it comes to things like this. I don't want to hear excuses. Literally the only thing that makes my blood boil. Just as there is a difference between hearing and listening. Excuses and reasons aren't synonymous. Must be nice when people only see the rewards thinking it was easy, but not the hard work that you put in to get yourself in the position to reap said rewards. Around the age of 30 I left a bunch of friends behind who would say this about positive things happening in my life. Got no time for that. You're so strong for going through something. It's not like I have a choice. I was told this so many times after going through a major trauma event. It just made me feel worse. I didn't want to be strong. I just wanted the life I loved back. A better life is not knowing how strong you have to be. What doesn't kill you makes you weak and almost killed. Can you please put your dick away? We are in church. The nerve of some people. Words hurt too. It's like people forget Jesus was hung like DISSSSSS asterisk ARMS extend infinitely. Smile. My smile is not public property, and it isn't purely for your gratification or to make you feel better. One time I was sitting down at my university eating a sandwich and this man I didn't know, briskly walking past me, said hello. Then before I even had time to process, let alone respond, he got really aggravated and said smile. Jesus. And before I could process that, he was gone. I remember being so irritated by that. Like, can't you see I'm ducking eating? My mouth was full, so what the duck did he expect? A big smile and greeting with a bunch of chewed up mush pouring from my mouth. If someone says hi to me in public, I tend to smile and say hi back, so long as I feel safe. Fucking glad I didn't have the time to respond to this prick who seemed to feel like I owed him some kind of extra timely and friendly response. Sorry, not sorry. Blood is thicker than water. No. Blood means zero to me. Never assume who is and who isn't my family. I agree. I have friends who are more important to me than most blood relatives. Most of my relatives have removed themselves from life in favor of my ex-wife. She's in a better place. No, my 8-year-old child who was murdered by my abusive ex is not in a better place. She should be with me. When I finally work up the courage to tell someone that the things they are saying are hurting me, and then they just say, "Oh, okay," or "I'm sorry you feel that way." My mom said this to me constantly until I snapped one night and called her out for being passive aggressive. She hasn't said it since. I'm keeping it real. No, you're a raging ashat who is miserable 24/7, and rather than work on your own poop, you'd rather make everyone around just as miserable. Literally insert something that isn't meant literally. Archer, you are figuratively killing me right now. I wouldn't say it pisses me off. It just makes me want to roll my eyes. But the phrase "everything happens for a reason," it's just meaningless tripe. Yeah. I have visions of some religious twat telling parents of recently murdered kid that everything happens for a reason. How people don't get punched or worse in those situations is beyond me. As a Christian, I don't believe that everything that happens is because it was God's will. The Bible makes it clear over and over and over and over in story after story that God's will isn't always accomplished. Just look at the book of Judges and 1 and 2 Kings. The people of Israel would be loyal to God, then turn away, become loyal again, then turn away over and over, and in 1 and 2 Kings, only a few kings were loyal to God alone. Most of them were horrible, and the Bible makes it clear that they were not doing God's will. I could care less. That means you do care. Instead say "I couldn't care less." When people are convinced that they understand a topic better than a group of 130 plus IQ scientists who have studied/researched their field for decades because they watched a TikTok that seemed to make sense. I have a couple of relatives who wouldn't be able to pass a 4th grade science test, but have absolute confidence they are smarter than the 130 plus IQ scientists. Of course, they both did my own research. Customers are always right. No, you are not. Sometimes people don't have common sense or logic in their statement and have a sense of entitlement because of it. Like, get out. It ain't always about you. I'm so OCD/depressed/insert other mental illness here. If you're saying it like this, stop. Yeah. That comes off as self-diagnosis from whatever mental issues are trending on social media, and using said self-diagnosis to draw attention to oneself. ADHD is fake. Bitch, I have ADHD, and I'm affected by caffeine differently. It makes me ducking tired. Wait, is this why I can drink 2 cups of coffee and a Red Bull and still need to take a nap and then go to bed early and I'm still tired in the morning? That they researched something that was really a misguided Google query. Ugh. Just reading this made me angry, lol. Biggest offender of this is my mother-in-law. She paints everyone who has done her wrong in any way to be a narcissist. She says that she knows what she's talking about because she's spent a lot of time researching this. I've wanted to tell her for years that her confirmation bias does not make her correct or educated. Supposedly makes my eyes twitch. As a person living with ASD, my top 5 is anything on the lines of "you don't seem it," or "but you're good with ." Like they expect people on the spectrum to be on par with sloth from the Goonies. Even worse is when people come to me asking massive generalizations, like I'm the token representative. And no, I'm not going to count the 146 toothpicks you just dropped on the ground, like I'm Rain Man. Be a man. Act like a man. I'm a man. Literally anything I do is what a man does, by definition. You voted for it. No, I didn't. I'm constantly being told poop about climate change, as if I can single-handedly solve it myself. I know who voted whom in my surroundings, and it's wild to me how those that voted for the current leading parties, not the US system, are those that get the most upset. So I ask, well, who did you vote for? So that they can be mad at themselves. It's just a dog. Stay positive. Sorry, I'm not a blind believer in positivity unless it's guaranteed that things will turn out better. Sigh. Depression is tough. I hear this all the time. I'm a cancer patient. How TF can I be positive when I'm puking my guts out with no end in sight? Sorry you're battling depression. That poop is a bitch no matter what. Please let me know if there is anything I can do. I'm just a phone call away. Until you make that phone call and suddenly you're going to voicemail and they are nowhere to be found. Just tell people, I'm sorry for your loss, and duck off. Espresso. Finna, it just makes you sound illiterate and stupid. I hate this. And I ducking hate with spoken and texted as wit. Wanna go to the park with me? Etc. No. I'd rather beat you senseless with a dictionary. Anytime I am looking for something and somebody asks where did you last have it? If I remembered I wouldn't be looking for it. It's in the last place you look. No poop. Who finds something and keeps looking? Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.